All right, guys, welcome to scale phase. Very important phase here. If any of your campaigns actually start having sales come in, what do you do? What do you do from there? How do you handle the scale phase? All right, so scaling up should be something you focus on last, in my opinion, unless you're in a niche that you know very well already, and you feel comfortable scaling up right out the bat. If you're experienced and you've been in this niche before, and you kind of understand how they work, what makes them tick, then okay, I'll say you can start by scaling up on your budget, um, but only in that case. So if within $25 spent you have a good ROI, you want to go right into launching more ad sets and scaling out with more buyer interest, similar to what Mariana said in the last video. There are countless ways you can create a new audience and launch a new $5 ad. You just have to start getting really creative with the way that you're launching these ads. Just know that you start with a wide open audience of millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people, and you can go in and take out a slice of those people with every way that you approach an ad with different tests. So, I mean, it's very powerful when you start going in there, taking out small slices, using different approaches, different objectives, different targeting techniques, different split tests. You can just simply launch many $5 assets and just hold on to that $5 budget that you have for as long as you can by launching a bunch of variations. Because when you have that $5 budget or $10, that small budget, 10 is good too. When you have that and you lock it in, your cost per conversion, it stays consistent. It'll stay locked in. Once you start increasing that daily budget, your cost per conversion isn't as safe as it was. It might start increasing. So when you scale out, you control your costs. This will give you a better chance of pulling in the conversions at a low cost for a longer time period. The more aggressive you are with the increasing of your budget, Facebook will start to charge you for that in conversions, clicks, and impressions. So just focus on variation up front, launching different ad sets with different approaches, using all of the interest that you build up while you're doing your audience building a buyer heavy audience. You should have a lot of interest if you put aside that block of time. So here's the split test here. This is just some of the ways that you can split test to create a new $5 ad set. Just give you another excuse to create another $5 ad set, which will pull out a chunk of people for you and bring you more traffic and give you another asset to test to see if you can pull in a sale by the time it hits however much your threshold is for each asset. So when you have that big list of interests, you can just test every interest on your list as single interest ads. Now, however big your list is, that's however many ads you can launch as $5 assets. Now, even if you have these ads and you're using them right now in group ads or flex ads, you can still launch them one by one as single interest ads. And that's just many excuses right there to launch $5 assets. You can pick one anchor broad interest and cycle in different interests from your list using flex targeting. So just pick a big interest, fishing lure, and then cycle in all of the small interests, small buyer interests with different ads. One broad interest with a buyer interest per ad set. That's an excuse to open up a lot of $5 assets right there. You can break all your interests into chunks of 3 to 5 interests and launch a lot of different combinations of group ads. Let Facebook do its ad set theory there. A lot of different group ads. Another excuse to launch a bunch of $5 assets. You can split mobile and desktop. A quick excuse to launch more ad sets. Split male and female, of course. It's the basic stuff. Split age ranges and just be creative with the way that you're splitting it. Age by age, be careful with that because that can get very expensive. You got to keep your eye on it. Or small age chunks, 25 to 34, how it is traditionally, or 25 to 29, 30 to 34. Just being creative. You can test different objectives such as link post conversion ads, clicks to website ads. Throw those up. That'll be a different slice of the big audience. That'll be another reason to launch another $5 asset to see if a different objective works better than what you're doing right now. Locations. You do a big group interest ad with a big group of buyer heavy ads. Interest, and target New York or any other big city. That's another reason to launch another $5 asset. You just launch those in all the big cities, and that's pulling out another chunk. Give you another excuse to launch another $5 asset. So behaviors, you can use the same audience as all of the other ads that you're using, but just throw some behaviors on there, test different behaviors, such as iOS users, whatever you have. I know it's different for if you're overseas. I'm not sure all of the behaviors that's available there, but there's still some behaviors to test in there to give you another excuse to launch more $5 assets. And then, of course, lookalike audiences. Once you have a certain amount of sales, then you can build a lookalike audience from the sales. You can build a lookalike audience from your fan page and test it. I like to just play around with the sales, the conversion lookalike. It's really cool. Like you can split it up in so many different ways, age by age again, small age chunks, intersected up with various interests that you have already built on your group, your buyer list. So we can have like a lot of different layers when you have a lookalike audience. It's just a lot to do. There's so many different ways to test $5 assets and start scaling up like that. And you can move at your own pace without giving up those cheap conversions. So, that's basically what I focus on there. Yep, you can launch $5 ads all day. You just have to be creative. Don't double your budget unless you're in the niche you're comfortable with. This is all stuff